Greetings, every pony. This is Rio Nightflare, aka the Nova Narrator, coming to you with yet another story. This is one I kinda was skeptical on doing at first because what's in it exactly? It's called Luna's Necromantic School of Nightmares. And it is a scary-based fiction. And the whole reason I was kind of skeptical is because it's kind of got a lot of gore scenes. Yeah, so let's just get right into it. Enough rambling, by the way. It was a normal school day for a typical unicorn cult like me, Star Stratus. No one really knew the background of the school. I knew a little bit about it, but the one thing they always tried to keep secret is the fact that it's built on an old tribal burial ground. That's why no one ever goes to the school after dark. My best friend / special some pony, Starry. Yes, I know it's kind of funny that my pony I picked to be my mare friend kinda has the same name, or just the star part. Best not to look into it too much. Starry was a simple filly. She always tried to boss me around at times, but hell, what guy don't get bossed around by his old lady, right? But that's not what this is about. This story isn't about my love life. It's about how everything in the school went to hell one night. It all started at a story gathering. Just a bunch of friends and me telling stories along with classmates. So I decided to tell them the story about the burial ground and how this school came to be. They weren't too happy about it, and Luna was kind of off-put about it. About how the tribes of the olden days died on this settlement, and the people who literally built the school told Luna that to begin with, but she said it was only a nighttime problem and no one will ever be affected by it. But a bunch of the classmates didn't really believe me. They were like, oh, nuh-uh. But about the only one who actually believed me was the pony who actually believed me all along. My little filly Rain of Sunshine story. But honestly, she'd pretty much believe anything I'd tell her, no offense. But, yeah, that's pretty much how it is with her. She's like, she pretty much has no self-thought. But again, I'm rambling, so let's just get back to it. But yeah, we all agreed to show up back here after dark, just so I can prove them wrong. 'Cause I've actually seen some of the stuff that goes on in this place after dark, and the outcome of it by the morning. So they all agree with a snarky "you're on," and then the bell rings, ending class. We all play out in the field, around our houses, and all that other good shit like good foals do, until dark. But what our parents don't realize is we already made plans for this time other than sleeping. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it like that. After they went to bed, we all snuck out, went back to the school, and for some odd reason, immediately, some of them noticed there was quite an off-putting vibe, considering quite a few of the classmates were really uncomfortable sitting in this particular area. Even I felt a little nauseous sitting here. And yeah, this was my idea. So thinking stupidly, we'd all decided to split in groups of 3. I went with Starry, and Overcast. And the rest split their own groups pretty much, because honestly, I don't make up their minds for them. That's their job. After splitting up, me, Starry, and Overcast, we trotted around towards the back, where all the wooded areas were, because that's usually where all the sightings take place, actually. No one usually knows that much, other than the ones who actually see it, and Luna thinks they're crazy, to an extent. But honestly, before too long, she's probably going to end up seeing something herself. Just then, a loud ping sound could be heard from the left of us. Starry gasps. I turned to face where the sound came from, coming to find out that something was thrown at an alarmingly fast rate against the wall. It was a small piece of metal, almost kinda looked like the size of a bit, only it looked more like a lug nut. Me, I took it like one of my friends were playing a joke on me, so I looked over in the direction it came from and said, "Okay, guys, very funny. Now come out." The only response I got was a chair flying clean over my head about 2 inches from my ears. I had to duck, thinking it was going to hit me as it whistled over my head, slamming into the wall right behind me. By that point, I was a little freaked out, and Starry was concerned. Overcast, he didn't really know what to think. Honestly, he was a little confused at the moment. Like, he was looking back and forth, probably like in one of those WTF trances you get when you usually see something you really can't explain, but you try to make sense of it, but honestly can't. But yeah, it didn't really stop there. We ended up hearing a scream from one of the other groups. I take off like a rocket, trotting in the direction of the scream as fast as I can, only to end up in a dark field surrounded by trees. Starry really didn't like this that much. She started to kind of shiver quite a bit and lean a little too close to me. Startled me for a second until I saw her out of the corner of my eye. After figuring out where the screams came from, Starry looks down at a mangled, ripped-in-half body of one of her closest friends. She lets out an ear-splitting screech that makes me fold my ears back in agony. After looking in the direction she was looking, I gasped as well, figuring out what exactly set her off. And I can see why she was so upset. I held her close to me, trying to keep her head facing away from it, as I honestly decided to get us the fuck up out of there. Then, right before we turned around, we heard something that sounded like a combination of a screech and a high-pitched, monstrous growl. All of our eyes grew wide, as we all turned 50 shades whiter than we already were. Being as pale as ghosts, like we just seen a ghost, we took off running in the opposite direction of that sound about as fast as our legs can carry us. I end up throwing Starry onto my back, struggling to carry her as I run. Her looking back and screaming the whole time, "It's on us, it's gonna get us." Honestly, that just made me want to run faster, because honestly, I did not want to find out what the fuck this thing was. If it was capable of ripping a pony in half with that amount in that amount of time, I'd hate to see what it'd do to a group of us. And I wonder what happened to the rest of her party, or if they're okay. See, right as soon as we lose the monster, I run right into one of the mangled corpses, See, pegged to a tree by some kind of spike-like talon. See, draining blood out of her mouth as her guts hang out her chest. See, that just sets Starry off even more as she screams so loud that she runs out of breath and passes out. Really, I didn't really like that much, and I look at, like, Stryker and say, for fuck's sake. I pick Starry up on my back, not wanting the monster to get her like she did the other party. Considering we already found 2 other bodies, I'm pretty sure the 3rd one is dead too. After 5 or 6 more ignored shrieks or screams, cause we really didn't want to go towards a harmful situation in the current condition Starry was in. Cause being passed out is really a disadvantage. It means I have to carry her and I can't really run that fast. Honestly, I'm pretty sure I'd go out before she would. I wouldn't let that thing harm her. Well, I'm pretty sure at least that's what the cult is supposed to say. Honestly, I'm not really that good at this. But so far, I ain't messed up yet, so... Just then, the monster could be heard lurking in the shadows, right? Not even 2 inches from us. See, honestly, I don't even know if it'd be considered 2 inches. Tree lines is a fucking spectrum in the woods. So honestly, at this point, I don't really care how it's phrased. But yeah, it was there. I looked up and seen its eyes glowing at me. And then Starry woke up. See, the monster looks right at her, giving that she was the closest one to it. She jumps... tongue-tied there. The monster jumps on Starry, pinning her to the ground and trying to rip out her throat. I run over, ramming my horn clean into the monster, screaming, "Get off of her!" as the monster claws my leg, almost taking it off, except the fact that I moved it away at the right moment, only getting a really deep gash and a swipe across the chest. In fact, in a way, I was lucky to be alive. If I didn't dodge at the right time, I'd probably pretty much be fucked. But yeah, I rolled over, grabbed Starry, and literally got the hell up out of Dodge. Honestly, we were injured. We didn't know how many of our friends were dead. So we turned on the walkie-talkies and actually issued the emergency protocol code. Because we kind of made one before coming out here. It wasn't in the freaking subtext, because honestly, what's the freaking point? If you're going somewhere this dangerous, you always gotta have a fallback plan. Everyone knows that. So yeah, I got on the radio, said the code word, and we were to all meet up in the center where the school was. But as we were running, we realized there was an abnormally amount of blood on the trail. Going up the field a little bit, we see 5 more groups completely and utterly shredded. Starry was literally horrified at this point, honestly. So I just blindfolded her and decided to carry her the whole time. Because honestly, she shouldn't have to go through this. Literally. And then we actually meet up with the last 2 parties, peering through the bushes just to realize the monster has them cornered and Sophie pinned up against a tree. Honestly, I realized I probably couldn't save her in the current condition I am in. So, honestly, that means the other guy that was with me in my party, whatever his name is, I freaking pretty much forgot. I think it was Stratus. Yes, let's just go with that. Honestly, pretty much I've been making this up as I go, so let's just get back to it. No questions asked. So yeah, Stratus took off running right at the monster, picking up one of its broken claws as he slides right into the kill zone, jumping right at the monster's throat. It peers at him, swiping at him and taking off one of his legs. Stratus dug the spike deep into the monster's throat, causing it to writhe in pain, thrash around a bit, and back off for a split moment. But it really didn't do much. It gave us enough distraction to literally get everybody out of that situation. As everybody took off running to another area, the monster continued to chase us. I look back at its black, grotesque, leathery skin, and its ugly red eyes, and long-ass horn, sharp teeth that can probably bite you in half with a single bite. And honestly, its mouth was pretty much big enough to swallow us all whole. Honestly, I didn't know what this thing was. I thought it was some kind of monster from Tartarus. But honestly, thinking back now, I've never seen anything like this in mythology or pony history. Some kind of freaking spiritual nature bullcrap. So honestly, I just kept running because my mind kept racing at the moment. So we got back to the school just to realize the monster could still follow us into the grounds. After it got, like, Kit, which she was following along in the back, along with two of the colts that got ripped in half. I swear, why are ponies so slow? Honestly, these fillies and colts should have been running marathons if they were fucking coming to a place like this, because some of them need to learn to run a little faster. That's what I thought. But after getting to this one spot, we realized, the fountain had a barrier on it, according to what Luna said. Even though she didn't really believe in the myth, honestly, Celestia had some safety precautions put in, just in case. So we dove towards the fountain, getting through the barrier, like right when the monster swiped at the last one of us, catching the bottom of his leg, just to bounce against the barrier and lose half of its hand, taking off in a fit of rage. It probably would be back, so we decided to stay in here for a little while. 3 hours pass, and it's almost daylight. We figure the monster ain't coming back, so we take off running back home, just to get cleaned up, come back to school, and honestly, Luna the next day was literally kind of shocked. She looked at us and said, "What happened to attendance?" I shook, Starry gulped, and honestly, we just told her you don't want to know. Because honestly, not any of us had the guts to really explain what happened. But you could blame us if you've seen all your friends and classmates get ripped apart by some kind of crazy monster right in front of you. Would you like to talk about it? Because I guarantee you wouldn't. And honestly, I'm pretty sure Luna should have already gotten rid of that thing. And this has been Luna's Necromantic Nightmare School. Actually, it's the Necromantic School of Nightmares. Got the damn fucking name wrong again. Fuck. And it's the first chapter, so yes, there is going to be another one, because clearly the monster's still alive. This has been Rio Nightflare, aka TNN, signing off.